Nature Service KPLC presents the Sulphur Friendship Summit, brought to you by Westlake Petrochemicals Corporation and KCI Constructors, sharing community pride in Louisiana's petrochemical industry. Now a look at a group of local young ambassadors on a historic trip to the Soviet Union. Here's your host, Kim Hunter.
Hello and welcome to the Sulphur Friendship Summit. Tonight we'll take a look into our video scrapbook and travel behind the Iron Curtain into the Soviet Union. It's a journey that 10 Sulphur students made along with their delegation leader. Tonight you'll meet them, and later in the show you'll also have a chance to participate in the program by calling in your questions. The young student ambassadors spent 22 days in the communist country as part of a youth exchange program. The idea is to take the politics out of these type meetings, allowing the teenagers to get to know each other as individuals. A program called People to People is making this happen. And on June 30th, after much preparation and loads of advice, the Sulphur delegation was off. There was delay traveling through customs, but the teenage ambassadors got off the ground safely, crossing a lot of land and water before touching down in Moscow. And here's what they saw. These ornate buildings in Red Square hold within them the history of Russia, a country where government is at the heart and hand of all that is done. The Communist Party, led by Mikhail Gorbachev, meets under the waving flag in the Kremlin. The flag itself, like the country, pays tribute to workers in a place where everyone is employed. Sulphur students had a lot to say about the work ethics.
They're all for one purpose over here. They can't go their separate ways over here because they're all working under one.
The way the communist system is, where everyone works for the good of the people, I think is something very powerful.
From what I've heard, there's not as much, at least in Soviet communism, there's not as much room for advancement. It's more difficult to advance in society.
After getting a feel for the city and its people, the young travelers made some observations that were very different from their expectations.
There's a lot friendlier people than I thought there would be. I felt like the government would be watching the people a lot more. There would be more police, more protection, things like that. I thought it would be a little more strict.
It seems only appropriate that the motherland of Russia also provides a secure resting place for the party's founding father, Lenin. Thousands line up to pay their respects to a man whose body is said to be perfectly preserved. The mausoleum is heavily guarded, and no picture taking is allowed.
Walking in twos, it was so restricted. You had to stay side by side with your partner. I never expected someone to tell me to move up because I was too far behind in the line.
While leaders have come and gone since him, no one is given the respect of Lenin. Guards change on the hour, and fresh flowers are left for him daily. Russia's newest leader is also pushing for a change in the Soviet way of life. And joining me now to talk a little bit about the trip are Leslie Sumter and Matt Red. Tell me, is Russia what you expected?
Not exactly. A lot of it's different. A lot of it's the same. The housing, the buildings, the government, just about the society is totally different than what Americans expect.
What about you, Matt?
I tried to go over there with an open mind, but I really did not know what to expect at all. And my impressions were, it's just like everything's just the same over there. There's no change at all in their system or